Chapter 3. We got Shulk. Let me just check my clock. Yep, it's Rhine time. And we are going into a rather strange chapter by Xenoblade standards. It follows a very basic formula many games or anime follow when it comes to the main character getting some kind of special power, or being bestowed some kind of special item like a sword. There's normally a chapter involved where the character learns about said power and realizes there's something more beneath the surface. So Rhine and Shulk wonder where to go, and they decide and settle on Colony 6 since they may have seen or known something about what happened to the Mechon. Okay, standard, but we do have an objective. Find a way to Colony 6. Okay, we can do that. To do so, we need to pass Tephra Cave, and then journey across the Bionis Leg, and as we journey through Tephra Cave, a few visions and dreams occur for Shulk. Shulk has a Monado vision where he sees a giant spider killing Rhine. Not ideal, so we gotta stop it. And this is one of the reasons I kind of forgot this chapter existed last time. Because they do the thing where the protagonist knows or is informed about something important that's going to happen, or some big reveal, and they just keep it a secret from everyone, despite the fact the very obvious play is to let everyone know. Yeah, Shulk doesn't know how visions work, or if he can even change the future, or if the visions are even real, because of Fiora, but still, this type of story always just kind of annoys me more than anything. It's personal preference, and I try and put up with it until the protagonist, Shulk in this case, realizes, hey, maybe I should tell people about these visions and we can address it together instead of just walking straight off the proverbial cliff. It's annoying to me every time it's done. The context doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, it makes sense in the confines of Xenoblade 1's narrative and for Shulk's character. I just find it contrived and annoying every time, so let's not dwell on it too much. But they do this a few more times throughout the story, but luckily Rhine is able to spot it and drag the words out of Shulk. And honestly, now that I think about it, that might be one of the reasons I like Rhine so much as a character. He understands when Shulk is hiding stuff and picks up on it really quickly. Especially from this point forward when he realizes, hey, this is something Shulk may tend to do from now on. Now, outside of that, we also have a scene of Dixon trying to navigate Valak Mountain and totally by happenstance, wandering upon the Monado, lodged in its place in Valak Mountain, surrounded by corpses, with baby Shulk laying there all alone. And this is one of the things this chapter does so well in my opinion, because it's setting up grander and broader mysteries for the game to unravel piecemeal as the game progresses. And this scene does a lot. It establishes an inherent connection between Shulk, Dixon, and the Monado. We question why those people are dead around the Monado. We question why Shulk is there to begin with, and why he's the only one to survive. And a more basic question, why even is the Monado there to begin with, and how did everyone find it? And that is honestly what the beginning of Xenoblade 1 does so well, in my opinion. And also just in the grand scheme of things. It sets up expectations, goes against those expectations, at least most of the time, and throws a bunch of questions at you to keep in mind for the rest of the game. And for a game that is probably going to run you 80 plus hours depending on how much side content you do, you need to have underlying threads holding the entire experience together and to continue to push not only those characters, but the players forward. And they utilize the Monado as a plot device for that exact purpose. I know some people use the word plot device as if it's almost a negative aspect of storytelling. I don't think it is. I think the Monado is used very well in Xenoblade 1 on the whole. It's a cool sword, and it is seemingly lying at the heart of all these questions we have, and throughout Xenoblade 1 we will slowly unravel those questions, not like Tokyo Ghoul, and get those answers. And the beauty of the game's plot progression, in my opinion, stems from the pacing, as we get one possible answer, or at least a piece of the puzzle, in this chapter. Yeah, it's not even just questions, we get an answer here. When Rhine is overwhelmed by the spiders and Shulk's aforementioned Monado vision, when that scene's about to come to pass, he's fueled by an overwhelming desire to change the future and protect Rhine. Those feelings coalesced with the Monado and allowed him to utilize Monado's shield to protect Rhine from the incoming blow. A new piece of the puzzle has been slotted into its place on the board. The Monado does have other functions, just like Shulk hypothesized, and they can be activated. And now we have a clue as to how. Strong emotion, and possibly the desire to change fate. This then gives the player another question. If we can damage Mechon and shield from incoming blows, including from non-Mechon foes, what other functions does the Monado have, and how does it do this? These are all questions that will get answered in time, but we start to really ask them right in this moment. But we also have that first Alvis scene. So before the spider bit, Shulk lays down for a bit of a nap. Honestly, I wish I could be like that, and just sleep whenever and wherever. But in that nap, he has a dream. And Shulk is able to awaken Monado's shield because of this dream. He had a dream involving Alvis's voice, but Alvis at this point is a mystery character. We don't know who it is that's talking. But Alvis says that to change the future, find the true Monado, and it can be done. And we now have a new objective in the back of our mind. Find out who the voice is. Spoiler, it's Alvis. But at this point, we don't know that. But we also have another primary objective that will stick with us for the rest of the game. Find out what the true Monado even is, what that means, and how to get it. And we also have a thematic goal for the game. Change the future. Not just defeat the Mechon, but change the future and overcome the concept of fate itself to forge our own. It's a small thing, but breadcrumbing these overarching themes early on like this helps lay a storytelling foundation that the rest of the game can utilize to flesh out and develop. And upon exiting the cave, Ryan and Shulk are greeted with the real scale of their mission, and what they set out to truly do. The Bionis looming over them in its massive form, and the Mechonis equal in size, looking far smaller due to how far away it is. This isn't a quick trip to the convenience store. This is a winner-takes-all mission. Everything is on the line, and it's shown, once again, this isn't a mission out of benevolence. This is a revenge story, and over the course of Xenoblade Chronicles, they will deconstruct the notion of revenge, break these characters down, and build them back up again. And there's some really great imagery here with the Bionis and the Mechonis, because it's very on the nose. But for the purposes of the story, it's a very apt metaphor to draw. The Bionis and the Mechonis represent two sides in a war, obviously, but having the setting be on the backs of these two titans epitomizes the us versus them mentality. That the Mechons and the Mechonis as a whole is the enemy and the focus of Shulk and Ryan's anger, and need for revenge. For the death of all those who died at Colony 9 and especially Fiora. This is a case of how Xenoblade Chronicles is able to use its very unique and grandiose imagery as a contrast, and honestly a magnifying glass, for its very human narrative about basic human conditions and emotions. So Chapter 3 has possibly, and probably, my biggest criticism with Xenoblade 1's story, with Shulk just withholding information about Monado visions that just get on my nerves. That again makes sense in the confines of the context of the story. I just hate it whenever stories do that. But it also has possibly my favorite aspect of Xenoblade 1, or at least Xenoblade 1's narrative and Xenoblade as a whole, and how this series is able to utilize its unique world design to further a very character-driven story, and how that unique imagery encapsulates the themes of the story being told. And funnily enough, this chapter, we circle back to that Dixon scene at the very start of the chapter, also begins setting something up I like to call the Dixon event, or effect. And what is the Dixon effect? Well, it's a character where you don't know where their allegiances lie. Dixon in chapter 1 and 2 is seen as just the bro of Dunban, and also a mentor to Shulk, who's there to guide him and make sure he doesn't stay too focused on his work, and is able to go live life and relax. Seems like a cool and chill dude, right? But in this chapter, in this opening scene especially, we learn there's something a little bit more to Dixon's character. Because he was the one who found Shulk in the Monado. And for some reason, he also didn't end up like all the corpses. So there's something clearly going on with Dixon's character. At this point, we just don't know it. And this will be expanded on later on when we get to Stol Marsh. And they do the, I had to lie to them the entire time scene, right? But we don't know if that's out of benevolence or malevolence at that point. And they do this back and forth with Dixon's character where you would never know exactly when or if you can truly trust him. Dixon, I feel on the whole, is one of the most underappreciated aspects of Xenoblade 1's story. And when we get to chapters and scenes that are more Dixon heavy, we'll definitely cover that aspect. But it really, honestly, those aspects to his character that I find really engrossing and engaging begin with this chapter, with the foreshadowing of Valak Mountain and the big reveal later on. So next time we'll actually get to the Charlotte scene, and we'll cover the events of Colony 6. Because we need to talk about Charlotte, and who I also think is one of Xenoblade's most underappreciated antagonists. So I'm going to call the video there for today. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games if you can, and as always, I'll see you all next time. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload and stream in the future. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, until we meet again.